We are following breaking news. A judge has just paused tonight's midnight deadline for federal employees to decide whether to take President Trump's so-called buyout. The deal would mean that they quit their jobs and hope to be paid through September or risk getting laid off anyway. It's part of the Trump administration's aggressive push to shrink the government. And at the center of it all is Elon Musk. Over the past 3 weeks or so, we have watched the world's richest man threaten massive job cuts across several agencies, from the Treasury to the U.S. Agency for International Development and the CIA, just to name a few. Next, he could come swinging for the Department of Education and the Environmental Protection Agency, and we'll have more on that in a moment. First, though, let's turn to CNN's Jeff Zeleny, who is live for us at the White House. Jeff, walk us through the judge's decision. It's a big one, and are you hearing anything from the administration in response?
Well, Brianna, we were about 10 hours or so away from that midnight deadline where federal employees would have been able to accept this offer to essentially not return to work and be paid through September if they would not like to participate in the return to office program. But that is all now on hold. As you said, a federal judge in Massachusetts putting the deadline on hold pending oral arguments on Monday. So for now, at least, this is in suspension mode. This is what we've seen from several executive orders the president has signed. A judge steps in and puts a bit of a pause on this. So far, the White House has not reacted to this ruling. We are expected to hear from the president later. I'm sure he will have words to say on this. But at the heart of this is how some federal workers believe they're actually being respected or not in the case of this order. The White House press secretary just a short time ago had this to say about this offer.
We encourage federal workers in this city to accept the very generous offer. If they don't want to show up to the office, if they want to rip the American people off, then they're welcome to take this buyout, and we'll find highly competent individuals who want to fill these roles.
Her words there, if they want to rip the American people off. Who she's talking about there is the federal workforce, from the CIA to the FBI to the FAA, actual people behind these offers. And just because people may be working from home or off site does not mean, of course, that they're ripping people off. But if you look at some of these factors now that are going into this, an email was sent out overnight giving employees one more chance to sign up for all of this, and they're really trying to make the case here that it's good for them. But the three federal unions that brought this suit are arguing and have been instructing workers to be very careful about this buyout offer because they say there are no guarantees at all for any of this. So for now, at least, Brianna, this is on hold until Monday, pending oral arguments. Again, no immediate comment from the White House. We've checked, and they've not gotten back to us. Brianna?
All right, we'll wait to see what they do say. Jeff Zeleny live for us at the White House. Thank you. Boris?
Federal employees at the EPA's Environmental Justice and Civil Rights Office have been told they could be put on leave in the coming days. They were told at an all-staff meeting the change would be part of President Trump's order ending all DEI initiatives. CNN's Renee Marsh is going to break this down for us. Renee, the Trump administration has already closed the EPA's DEI office. So what does the Environmental Justice Office do, and how many workers could be impacted?
Right, so this is an office, it's the Environmental Justice as well as the External Civil Rights Office. And these are individuals who are making sure that grants, policies are keeping in mind that there are certain communities that could be facing disproportionate impacts from things like climate change and pollution, and making sure that federal funding and programs are equitably distributed so that they can prepare themselves, make sustainability plans for their communities, as well as resilience for their communities. So that's at the heart of the work that they do there. But the Trump administration sees work like this as an extension of DEI. However, many of the employees I speak to don't view themselves as DEI employees. They actually see that this is work that's being done to make sure that all communities have access to the resources to protect themselves from things like pollution and climate change. So back to what we're learning, many of the staffers within this office and division of the EPA are literally on pins and needles, waiting to hear that they too would be put on paid administrative leave. And this comes after that meeting that you mentioned, in which they essentially said that we plan on enforcing the president's directive through his executive order to dismantle programs like this. And so what does that mean? I mean, his executive order very clearly states that offices focused on environmental justice should be terminated. So employees got that word yesterday. Fast forward to today, I've not received any messages from anyone saying that they've been placed on leave, but they said that they are expecting that this will happen in the coming days. And of course, Boris, this is just one of many agencies in which we have seen this.
Yeah, apparently DOJ looking at every single agency across the U.S. government. Renee Marsh, thanks so much for the update. Brianna?
And with us now is Democratic Congresswoman Melanie Stansbury. She is the top Democrat on the Oversight Committee's DOJ subcommittee, which is a mouthful. Congresswoman, thank you so much for being with us. And you and a number of other Democrats showed up at Treasury a couple days ago after we had learned that Elon Musk's DOJ effort had gained access to their payment machine, which was a big deal. Was it, though, just a show of opposition? Were you able to achieve something?
Well, I think, first of all, we have to observe that even a federal court judge today agreed that Elon Musk is breaking the law. Whether that's trying to fire federal officials, they're freezing federal funds, they're stealing our data at Treasury. And so over 24 members of Congress in both the House and the Senate showed up. We requested access to meet with the Secretary of the Treasury and to discuss what's going on and to find out from both politicals and senior officials what data they have access to. When we got there, we met with the Secret Service who was guarding the area, and basically we were told that the politicals had been informed we were there, and they left us standing outside. And so there were probably thousands of people in the streets. The American people are marching in every major city right now, demanding that Elon Musk be held accountable. And so our responsibility as members of Congress is to show up, to conduct oversight. We were there to perform oversight over the Secretary and the DOJ team, and we were denied access. So that's why we were there.
And so you don't have this lever really of lawsuits because Democrats are not in control of Congress. But there are outside lawsuits, and as you mentioned, and we just covered, you're now seeing stuff move through the courts. It is a slower process, certainly, than the swift process that we see Elon Musk and his DOJ associates sweeping through the government with. So do you have confidence that the court system can respond in the manner and with the speed that it needs to in order to address concerns that you have?
I mean, right now, it's the tool that we have to stop them in their tracks. If you look at what happened last week, illegally, the White House froze funds for literally thousands of entities across the country. They tried to lock states out of the Medicaid system. And within 24 hours, we went to the courts, the state attorney generals went to the courts, and 2 different federal judges said, this is illegal. We're going to put a pause on this. We now have this with the federal employees. We now have this with the Treasury Department. The courts is the tool right now because Republicans control not only the House and the Senate, but the White House as well. And so, if you watch the Oversight Committee yesterday, they've completely abdicated any oversight on the Republican side of the aisle. In fact, when we tried to invite Elon Musk to come appear in front of the committee, they denied our request. And then we tried to subpoena him yesterday. And when we tried to hold them to account, all hell broke out in the committee because they have zero interest in performing oversight.
Well, part of it didn't work out because that was a surprise move, right, to subpoena Elon Musk. But there were actually a couple Democrats who were critical to the effort who didn't show up. They missed the vote, insisting that they wanted to be there, but it was something that was organized pretty quickly. You told this to Kristen Welker in December. I want to listen to this.
And I just think that as we're facing the Trump administration, we have to have well-oiled committee machines, well-oiled leadership machines, and that we have to know how to serve the American people in an effective manner.
Looking at yesterday, and I know it was an effort to kind of throw something together, but it didn't work out. That wasn't well-oiled. How do you, going forward, try to change that?
Well, I think it's important to understand how the committee process actually plays out. Republicans are in the majority, and at any given time, it's very unlikely that the Republicans are not going to stall the proceedings so that they can get enough members in the room. Now, if the chairman had actually held the vote at the moment the motion was made, we would have destroyed them in the vote. But what happened was there were only like 4 members on the Republican side even in the room because people are doing lots of different things during the day. And so if you notice in the tape, I mean, they had to hold the vote open for, 15 minutes until they could get enough Republicans in the room. So, I mean, we're not in the majority. But that doesn't mean that as, the resistance inside of our agents, or inside of the Congress, that we can't use that platform to show that we're fighting for the American people. But procedurally, we're going to lose because we're not in the majority.
How important is it to at least appear unified and organized
Absolutely.
in that effort?
It's crucial. It is absolutely crucial. But I think yesterday was a bit of an anomaly because it was a busy day and people were doing various things around the campus. So, but of course it played out on a gigantic stage.